Good morning all. So today we'll do a full install of Steadypass on a Mastercraft. Pretty strong return spring, that's important for this installation, even more so than without. You have to know roughly where the neutral position is, because this mount will have to be moved back probably ½ inch, so probably looking for a couple new holes here. The mount of the cable on every boat will differ somewhat, so that's the creative part. So trying to put the nut on, it is stiff and I can't even put it backwards at first, so I think I'll have to thread it in the direct direction, forward direction. Okay, so now the plate is pre-drilled for this rod, goes on top, and the second mounting nut goes fixing there.
Yeah, that's a lot easier, huh?
That's so much better. Perfect. Okay, so next piece is finding a bracket that works for this boat to serve as a guide for the cable. In this place, what we figured out is the Home Depot bracket for cable actually works well. Comes across both the throttle rod and this boat cable, and goes into existing hole as well. And depending on what you have available in your boat, you may need to be a little creative there. But this piece, although not super required, is very nice to have because it prevents cable from angling and possibly wearing itself out. So let's make sure it goes in. When you have the server installed and the linkage in place, it is very important to get it set right. We're fixed the mounting nuts on the bottom cable, on the throttle rod, and on this ending on this tip, on whatever we call this in English. Now you see there is a bit of a loose cable in the default position, and this is where it is very much recommended to find yourself a battery and get your device near so you can see it. Yes, you can. Now, if there is enough enough travel distance to use in the server, you can adjust it through the menu. But it is possible that you might need to unset the screw and move the boat and cable further in. In this case, I have enough adjustment. The minimum value on the minimum server menu is 950. I am at 1130. So as I decrease it, you see server is tightening the cable. You do not want it too tight. So as it comes close, one more click, wiggle it a little bit, one more, it's tight. The moment it's tight, leave it. Do not over tighten the server. The moment that it's tight, leave it. Worth going back verifying, so 1050, 1060, if there is a slack, 1060 slack, 1050, almost none, 1040 is perfect. This will be worth verifying once after so many hours, just once in a while, that in your default server position this part is not slacking. Again, device on, you get out of the menu, the values are saved. You do not have to do that every time. You get to your default screen, off or in the GPS mode, doesn't matter. Device will hold its default position. It has to be firm but not over tightened. So this particular carburetor has very short travel of the throttle arm. What this means, we'll need to limit the maximum servo extension so this doesn't happen ever, because this is not helping. This may just get in the way of control. Put it to full throttle just to make sure. Yeah, that's full. So still too much. The way you take this slack out is go into the max servo menu. and decrease that value. Again, watch the cable as I twist the knob. Yeah, so in the maximum throttle position of the handle, I would set it to where the cable is just a little bit tightened, but definitely not. That's full, okay. Well, this would be extreme, putting the full throttle when you just need to tow a wakeboard at 50 miles an hour may be a bad idea anyway, but that's the other setting. So 1740 on the device screen. Save, long hold gets you out of the menu. And now just to verify the cycling, there. So now we see with the throttle full, device is able to cycle from the boat's full throttle to the near neutral. This is how device operates. This is how it controls your speed. So, for example, let's just emulate this real quick. This is your default position. Can you put throttle to idle? So imagine this is idle, boat is idling, then you start to pull the wakeboarder out of the water. You give it half throttle maybe. There you go. More, a little more. That's half. Wow. Okay. So whatever throttle this is, now you picked up speed. Device senses that the speed has gone over the limit, and what it will do is it will do this. It will relax your throttle a little bit to drop your speed to the target. If your speed drops too much, it will pull it back in, and so it will go back and forth to keep your speed at your target. Now, obviously, if you drop your throttle by your handle too low, device will not have enough working range to get your speed where it needs to be. This is where you will need to increase speed. So device can never increase speed more than what your mechanical throttle on your helm sets. That's it. Okay, last part. We have the wires through. We have the GPS connector, temperature sensor, the server control cable, and the power with the tach signal. You have to put the mounting cap on, and that goes from the inside because that's what pushes your device against the dash panel. And since it wouldn't fit inside through the hole, you have to go back, get the cables, take them through the hole, drop it inside, and we are back to where we were just a second ago. So server, temperature, GPS, hand tight, and the power. When done, put it in the dash and then secure with this back cover mount. There you go, what a perfect fit. Now most dashes will probably be tight enough to where you don't need to screw it, but there are those two wing nuts, so go back in, straighten the cables, yeah, see it from here, get this cover in all the way. There, that's a thick dash, but still enough space, just barely enough to get those wing nuts on. Okay, this way it doesn't rattle itself out of place later. Now, if you can put some thread locker on the wing nuts, that would be a good idea, because they feel like they don't have much to grip on. Don't over tighten them, those are plastic parts, they will crack if you really over tighten it. Well, let's check this out. is horizontal enough. And flipping the switch. And there you go. That's the first official power on of the device on this Mastercraft. Done. Let's see if RPM works. So the overall process took less than 2 hours with all short breaks and segues for making this video happen. The mechanical part is probably the easiest. You'd spend more time on making your electrical connections clean and right. Don't cut corners there. Those are your electrical wires. They can short circuit, they can cause fire, so make them right. Yeah, let's check out if RPM sensor works okay. Otherwise, I think we're done. Thank you.